right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is where we talk sports with you for the next 25 minutes, and all you have to do to join us is call 412-575-2600. That's the number of the Border Supporters Hotline. You can also tweet me at KDPomp or Chris Muller, PGH. We go up to 93.7 The Fan. Chris Muller from the PM team is here. And, Chris, I want to start with Andrew's favorite topic, and that would be Leonard Fournette, released today by Jacksonville. They tried to trade him, couldn't move him, got nothing, no offers, so they said they release him. Number one, I want to know what happened behind the scenes there, because he's a pretty talented guy, went as the first running back 3 years ago in the draft. But the question coming here is, should the Steelers make room for him, considering James Conner, when you match up numbers for numbers, has very similar, if not better numbers than Fournette overall in a lot of categories? I'm just curious what you would do and how you'd go about business there with Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette's a better running back than James Conner. I'm aware of what the numbers are from 2018 and 2019, and Fournette's worst year was 2018, which is Conner's best. Fournette missed 8 games that year, only played in 8 games. But he is a better running back. 2,000-yard-plus seasons. He got the ball a bunch last year at 1,152 rushing yards. He caught 76 passes last year. He is a versatile back. And here's the other thing. He's much more durable than James Conner. In those 3 years, the feature back all 3 years for a mostly bad offense that has had bad quarterbacks in Jacksonville. The guy has 800 touches, 666 carries, which is far more than Conner had. And here's an alarming stat for Steelers fans. Last year, after Week 8, James Conner had a grand total of 19 carries. Think about that. Last half of the season, he carried the ball 19 times. That's not good enough. That's not reliable. And I'll take my chances with Fournette, whose biggest sin is that he was overdrafted in a draft that also had Christian McCaffrey at his very own position, among others, and some really talented quarterbacks. Well, really talented quarterbacks. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is out there. Deshaun Watson's out there. That's the stigma that follows Fournette. I don't really blame him for wanting to get out of Jacksonville, where everyone hated Tom Coughlin, who was a taskmaster at the front office level, and apparently guys weren't crazy about Doug Marrone either.
Is there baggage there that we don't know about?
I don't think so. I think anything that was done in service of trying to get out of Jacksonville. And are you looking for Leonard Fournette to be Mr. Right long term? No, you're looking for Mr. Right now, as in this year. And I think this year you would get a very motivated player who's trying to play and perform for a contract after this season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, but the Steelers have not budged. They had an opportunity to trade for him, elected not to. Nobody made a deal, and they were looking for anything that they can get, nothing, so he's released. We'll see if anybody goes out there. I would suspect a team like a New England. They always seem to come up with players who you would think, okay, bring him in and see what happens there. Maybe even Tampa Bay, although they have Shady McCoy, too, that they signed. Derwin James is a big loss for San Diego. I want to bring that up. We saw that tonight. Chris, he's been injury-plagued as well. A very talented guy for the Chargers defense, and yet he's going to be lost for 8 months now.
Yeah, that's a huge blow to that team that I thought could be, at the very least, pretty interesting this year. For my money, Derwin James is one of just the most purely talented players on defense in the entire league. And at safety, he is a true weapon. So I think that dramatically kneecaps Los Angeles' chances to do anything in that division of significance. And if you were taking them at all seriously with Tyrod Taylor and maybe Justin Herbert as their quarterbacks and just a talented roster as a team that could vulture a playoff spot, I think this is a huge blow to that idea. I think Derwin James, when he's healthy, is that good. So if you're looking at the Steelers' overall playoff chances, I think that's a good thing for them. As bad as it is to you're not cheering an injury, but the acknowledgement has to be there.
All right, let's talk about baseball. The Pirate trade deadline came and went today, nothing done. I'm not surprised by that. They just don't have anyone right now who I think would command what they want. But that doesn't mean they won't trade guys like Polanco or Bell or Musgrove or anyone else for that matter. Were you surprised there was nothing in terms of a trade today?
A little bit, just that there wasn't some sort of move made in the margins, but I think that's sort of a commentary on what you just said. So many of the guys that were thought of as tradable assets, and really I think Ben Cherington made it clear that nobody was nailed down here. It was basically an everything can go, if not an everything must go. None of those guys are playing well enough. They're all playing pretty putridly, actually, for teams to even want them. So on one hand, I guess it's smart. You try not to deal guys when their value is at their lowest. On the other hand, for a general manager that won't say rebuild, he'll just say that he's building something, it's pretty disheartening that you're this bad on paper and in terms of wins and losses, and nobody's even performing well enough to tempt a contending team to take a shot at them.
Well, at least one thing, we're going to see Brian Hayes starting tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. We also have a video that has surfaced about Pat Narduzzi. I'll get Chris's take on that, and I invite you to call us with your take on all of these topics. It's 412-575-2600. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, live right here 7 nights a week on Pittsburgh CW.